here is my giant secret. Your brain already has those ideas, and we rush ourselves, and we don't take the time to just let our brains kind of play around with stuff and come up with things naturally. When I teach about marketing, when I teach about content and copywriting, that's what I want people to come away with. Hey creatives, welcome back to another episode of the Neurodivergent Creative Podcast, brought to you by viewers like you, including Patreon supporters, Amaris, Jesse, Kitty, Mara, Nicola, and Samaya. New Patreon supporter who is going to start getting thanked in November is Brennan, my partner, who is already doing enough and yet signed up for my Patreon. And we love that, and that's a green flag, and settle for nothing less. There we go. So today's episode is about ChatGPT again, but specifically, I want to talk about trusting yourself to have good ideas and to communicate them in this era where we're sort of just outsourcing that to a generative AI, right? There's it's just taking over Threads and Facebook and everything. Like, I see people saying, oh, here are some prompts that I used for ChatGPT in my business this week to market whatever thing I'm doing, just to help around the house. And the more I see them, I'm like, I'm not even interested in this, because I would rather hear what you did, how you learned to do a thing. Like, I don't want to catastrophize. I don't want to be like, the sky is falling. But whenever people are like, oh yeah, I did this with ChatGPT, I get like this flash of the movie WALL-E, where like corporations, I don't want to say people, like it's not people evolved to sit in chairs and watch screens all day. Corporations moved people in that direction in WALL-E to the point where they are like, everybody's fat. And I love fatness. Like, we're not saying that that's bad. In the movie, of course, like, media portrayal is this is bad. So everybody is fat in these like automated moving chairs, and they don't pay attention to anything happening around them because everything is on a screen in front of them. And they have like giant sodas, and nobody falls in love anymore. Nobody notices anything. Nobody does anything because they're just on their screen. And so when people are like, oh, ChatGPT helped me optimize how I clean the bathroom, I'm like, this feels like you can just clean the bathroom like inefficiently or however you do it. Like, not everything has to go through ChatGPT. And this is going to be like an unhinged episode because I don't have notes. I'm just like, this is the topic. I'm going to riff on this. And that's what we're doing. But it was brought to you specifically by a comment or just a conversation with my content manager, Kitty. And she said that she, like, ever since I did the first AI episode, she's been like really thinking about how she uses ChatGPT and things like that. And she said, I was thinking about how AI was really useful for me because I didn't have to sit down and wring my brain to get words. But then I started writing without AI, and all of a sudden it feels different. Not different bad, but different in a sense that, holy shit, I can write this without assistance. And that kind of concerns me because it wasn't that long ago that we were able to do stuff without assistance, without running it through AI. And again, I want to like delineate, we can't avoid the fact that it's here, it's doing the damage that it's doing. Okay, like, you have my ethical stance on AI, but I also have to come in with a level of, yeah, but I still drive a car and I still have a smartphone. And like, there's a certain unable to avoid it quality when something just is everywhere like this. AI is ubiquitous. You go on Facebook and Meta AI is like, what are you thinking about today? What are we going to do? And now there's like assistive prompts to respond to people's posts, except they're terrible. Like, I'm going to go to Facebook right now. So here's a meme. It says, I have a lot on my plate right now. And then the plate is Mexican food and tacos. Are we seeing this? And typically I will get like a prompt after this that's like, recipes for tacos. Are you feeling okay? And it's just like the most tangentially related little prompts. And I'm thinking, we don't need this. Does somebody need that? Maybe I'm missing that somebody needs that. But in my experience, which is not the complete human experience, I can admit that. In my experience, people will comment if they want to comment, and they'll just like it or give you a little care reaction and move on with their day if they want to do that. Maybe those prompts are to make it easier to start a conversation, but I personally would rather have like a human interaction than just press a button, okay. But at the same time, sometimes I find those really handy in Google's email where it will give me a suggested prompt back that's like, Tuesday works great, thanks. Because that to me is something that I already would have said, but now there's a button for it. And so that does add efficiency to my day. And I'm not sure if that's AI. It seems like it's AI. I don't know. This stuff's insidious. Talk to me about it. How are you using AI? Where does it show up for you? But on Facebook, the prompts don't always match. They don't always make sense. And I think I just nailed it with the difference between like my email prompt saying, Tuesday's great for me versus a Facebook comment that says, do you have a good recipe for tacos? Because I'm not going to ask somebody that when they share a meme about tacos. That is like the meta AI is not reading the room. Whereas the Google email prompts are at least something that makes sense and that I would say. So I guess I'm telling Mark Zuckerberg to try harder or just get rid of it because we don't need it. Thank you. Pinterest now is full of AI generated stuff to the point that I have been seeing dozens of people. I mean, I'm not big on the Pinterest lore and news, but every once in a while, like at least once a day, I'll see somebody on Threads posting like, where did the old Pinterest go? Pinterest is just covered in AI posts and like there's nothing real anymore. And so this is like actively detracting from the like human experience of the internet. I actually saw a post today that said, is the human age of the internet over? Because anything that they were Googling now comes up with hundreds of AI posts and suggestions before anything created by another person. And that is really detracting from the things that made the internet good. What makes the internet good is being able to have a global community. And I don't think that AI is helping with that. I think that humans talking about their own lives and sharing things from their own lives is how we connect with other humans, not AI. But again, open to talking about it. Let's talk about it because it's here and it's happening. And I ethically am not into it because of the environmental damage and the inherent like theft of the model and the fact that it's impacting us economically now and jobs wise as well. I think that's pretty bad, but it's here and we can't really avoid it. And obviously people are going to use it. So coming back to Kitty's comment where she was amazed that she could write by herself. And that's really like disingenuous. Kitty's a great writer. And I have seen Kitty's writing and she also does like content management and content creation and stuff for clients. So I'm a marketer too. Like in corporate marketing, I would have to come up with like 4 different blog posts about plants every month. And eventually you run out of ideas and it's hard to get like fresh inspiration on what can I say about plants that's a little bit different this week. And so like when you are in that mode of content creation and needing to create like volume of material for marketing, I get why it's tempting to just go put in a prompt and say, give me 50 ideas of a post I can make about plants or about corgis or about whatever. But here is my giant secret. Your brain already has those ideas and we rush ourselves and we don't take the time to just let our brains kind of play around with stuff and come up with things naturally. When I teach about marketing, when I teach about content and copywriting, that's what I want people to come away with is like, you already know what your client needs to know because I assume that you're talking to your ideal clients. I hope so. If you're not already talking to your ideal clients and like getting to know them and what their questions are and what their needs are, you should do that before you start trying to market something because you need to know that what you're marketing makes sense for your ideal client. So let's use Copy Improv as an example. This is a 3-month copywriting intensive that I am running. It's going to be a small group. We are going to have like an office hours model where you can just come in. Sometimes I might have a topic that I want to touch base on. Maybe I'll like alternate it. Maybe we'll do like a lesson and then the next week we'll do like co-working / open office hours where you can just come in and chat with me and get my feedback. And then the next week a lesson. Okay, so that's up in the air. but there's going to be a mix of me teaching something, some topic about copywriting and marketing versus holding a space for people to come in and get real-time feedback. So say you wrote an Instagram post and you're like, Caitlin, I don't know about this caption. What should I write about the caption? You bring it in, we look at the post, I will coach you or help you figure out what you want to say, and then you go be free and post it on Instagram. Sounds great, right? I am having trouble selling this because I'm very used to talking to people about writing their books, and I've definitely worked with queer and ADHD business owners on their marketing. Like that is another thing that I do, but that work has usually come through referrals or like people that I get to know at like neurodivergent business events. And then like we follow each other and I mention it like one time, like, oh, I help neurodivergent people market their business or whatnot. And then they're like, tell me more about that. So I'm realizing now that when I have created like a large volume of marketing content, that has usually been book oriented. Write your memoir, write your novel, finish your first draft, novel parkour. Like I don't have a huge following, but I am known for that in the circles where I am known. So doing this thing that's like copywriting, marketing, come hang out with me. Those same circles who are talking about Caitlin Fisher, the book coach, are not the ideal client space for Caitlin Fisher, the marketing and copywriting coach. So here's a live example of me having to dissect where I've been talking about this offer, why it's not moving, because I'm not talking to the right audience, and also because I think Instagram's mad at me right now because like my reels and stuff are getting no reach. Probably posted one too many things to my stories about Gaza. So, you know, they love a shadow ban. But regardless, people on Instagram not seeing it, and that's where I was doing a lot of my marketing. So now I got to walk that back. I'm going to switch over to more email. I will talk about it in this podcast. Hey, if you're a marketer, I have a copywriting intensive. It's awesome. You should join it. Check it out. We'll put a link in the show notes. But going back to that idea where like you have to make sure that you have an offer that your audience wants and needs. This is called validating your offer. That's the term, the business term. And I have validated this offer because I have done a free workshop on this method that got lots of support. People loved it. And then I ran it as a free workshop myself. So I first did it at the Neurodiverse Entrepreneur Summit. I have to remember if it's neurodiverse or neurodivergent. Pretty sure it's Neurodiverse Entrepreneur Summit. And then I did it like on my own, just marketing to my own email list, etc. So I've now run a free version of this twice and people love it. So I know that it's good. I just have to get like the larger offer in front of those right people. And so doing the same exact thing that I do for my book incubator or for my editing and writing coaching, different, two different things. And I'm a multi-passionate ADHD entrepreneur. So like, it's okay to have multiple things, but you do need to be aware that your strategy for marketing in those different categories is going to have to be different. So bringing it back to ChatGPT, our tendency is to go to a thing that makes it easy and just let our brains take a breather, right? I don't want to have to come up with marketing content to get Copy Improv in front of the right people. I'm tired. My brain hurts. My body hurts. It's been a hard time. So yeah, the temptation to just go be like, design me a marketing launch sequence. And I've done this before. I understood the implications of ChatGPT and figured out that like, no, this particular tool, not for me. I don't want to use it because of its effects on the environment and people. But I've used it to help me outline email sequences and things like that. And I know how to write email sequences is the thing. And I know how to write a sales page and I know how to write marketing content. And the thing that we get, the thing that justifies the use of ChatGPT is, well, it saves me so much time and energy. I think that the time and energy that you put into authentically talking about your offer is always going to be better marketing than something that came out of ChatGPT and saved you time and energy. And there's a balance. There is, because, you know, my line in the sand on ChatGPT and ethics is like using it as assistive technology for a disability. I don't get mad at that, or I try not to. I can't justify getting mad at it because I have an iPhone, you know? And I know that somebody got hurt mining the particular ore needed for this iPhone. And I have 2 computers. I've got a desktop and a laptop. And like, I do what I can to minimize my impact on the environment. I run my electronics into the ground. Like, I had an iPhone 6S until I upgraded to this iPhone SE that I've had for 2 years. I'm like 6 iPhones behind. And I do not care about having the latest and greatest. I will get a refurbished, upcycled, secondhand thing any day. My laptop is actually an ancient MacBook that a friend gave me when she upgraded hers. And she was like, hey, I'm just going to mail this to you because you need a new laptop. I think it was like when I quit my job. And I was like, oh, my only laptop is my work laptop. So I'm going to need to get a laptop. And she was like, I just got a new one for work. I'm going to send you my old one. So hooray. Her account is still on it because I couldn't figure out how to get it off. Like, my technology use is kind of not cutting edge. And so like, that makes sense to me. Then I'm like, ChatGPT, I'm not so sure about that. Because I don't tend to be an early adopter. I tend to be a wait and see and really think about it and let it marinate so that I decide how I want to use that. Because like I said, I'm tired. I'm chronically ill. I'm disabled. I don't have time to be learning new stuff and then be like, no, this isn't for me. Like I kind of did with ChatGPT. Am I glad that I learned it? Yes, I think it was useful to learn at the time. I am at least competent in how to use that technology. And then I was able to make an informed decision that I did not want to. Really, I'm doing like 2 episodes, but they're at the same time. I'm like talking about ChatGPT over here and marketing and copywriting over here. My point in all of this, to bring it together beautifully and succinctly, we hope, I pray I can do it succinctly, is that your human mind and imagination has what you need. It just does. And I know it is an if you have the time and the space to allow yourself to naturally imagine and brainstorm and come up with ideas, your own ideas, that is always going to win out over something that you got out of a program. Thus, Kitty realizes she can indeed write without the use of ChatGPT. Thus, I recognize that I know why my marketing isn't working because I haven't been speaking to the right people. I have been marketing the way that I market my other products. And this is different because it's for marketing, it's for business, it's for copywriting. My brain told me that. I didn't run my algorithms and my analytics through ChatGPT and say, why do you think this isn't working? Like, bitch, I know. I can think with my mind and get there. And I think we really do ourselves a disservice when we rely on an assistive technology, a generative technology to, quote, come up with ideas. Because a technology is not coming up with ideas. Human minds come up with ideas. And ChatGPT is going to regurgitate other human beings' ideas. So if you can, just do your own ideas because they're good. They're good and you know what you're doing. And you know stuff. And I want you to trust yourself to know stuff. So that's today's episode. I love you. I will see you again soon. And if you loved this or if you hated this, I don't know, I'm not your boss, please go support me on Patreon. You can sign up as a free member or you can start at a paid tier. They begin at $3 a month, all the way up to $100 a month. So like there's something for everybody and every budget. If you are on a coastal state and you are experiencing hurricanes right now, holy shit, hope you are okay. I have a friend in Florida and Florida people, they're committed. They're like, oh yeah, no, we went to Publix and got a hurricane cake. And I'm like, oh, you just do it different down there, don't you? So my Florida friend was actually considering evacuating for Milton. I'm not sure what Milton's going to do by the time this episode comes out on Friday. Hopefully Milton's not too bad, but it's looking not great. I'm concerned, my friends. So if you are in an affected state, please reach out. Let me know. I will do what I can to amplify your GoFundMes, your fundraisers for evacuation, for support, for everything. Like, these hurricanes are unprecedented levels of severe weather. Okay, friends, I will see you soon. Join the Patreon, like, subscribe, do the things. Send me pictures of your dogs, because I love them. And I'll see you next time.